everybody, and welcome to another Those Once Loyal Battle Report. Tonight, I'm going to be taking the Death Guard on an ITC mission 5 to be exact. And right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives on the board. This is our deployment. Spiky Hammer Anvil, is that what we were calling it?
Pointy Dawn of War.
Pointy Dawn of War. So we're set up kind of long ways here on the board. Lots of buildings set up. Some people are hiding. Got the Poxwalkers over here. Poxwalkers over on the other side too. The 2 Plagueburst Crawlers over here, kind of castled up. Foulblight spawn right here. And my Warlord tucked in. We're going to count him as inside the building, but his head spike's not really letting him do that today. And over here we got a little lobe of some fast attack behind my Demon Prince. Hopefully I can keep him alive. The Rhino filled with Plague Marines and another Foulblight spawn. And another Fetid Bloat drone over here, waiting in the distance.
So, we have got the Triple Crown Craftworld Drukhari Harlequin Force. Craftworld, also known as Asuryani. We're looking out across the battlefield. I've got my grotesque 2 7-man grotesque units. Hiding behind them are all my characters. Look at that beautifulness. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I got 40 Guardians waiting in the webway to strike. It's gonna be a fantastic game. Oh, should we talk about our secondaries?
Yes, we should talk about the secondaries.
So I picked Recon because I want to go into the middle of the board and I want to stand there and I want to fight Death Guard. I've got Headhunter because Ryan has a few characters. I'm going to be looking at taking out the Solitaire and the Death Jesters. And then I picked Marks for Death, and I marked Ryan's Rhino, Ryan's Plague Marines, and both of Ryan's Poxwalker units.
It's gonna go down.
It's gonna be amazing.
And for my secondaries, I picked Reaper, Old School, and Recon. Just gonna try to kill as much stuff as I possibly can. And Old School because, you know, I played a lot of just standard 40k, so that's kind of what I'm used to. And Recon's, I think, got a decent amount of stuff that can get some board control. This layout, I got some slow moving stuff. We're set up sideways, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right, guys, kicking off the Bat Rep list showdown. I got Eldrad, the leader, not the warlord, but the leader of my force today. He's a badass Farseer. You can see this awesome paint job I got off eBay. He is going to know some amazing second powers. I'm thinking today it's going to be Doom, Guide, and Executioner. Depending on what Ryan's list is, I might take Fortune, depends on what he's got going on. But Eldrad he always gets powers off, and he's also super hard to kill. He's one of the only Craftworld models that's a little weenie elf man who's tough as 4. Here we have Eldrad's number 2 head honcho, the Warlock. He's going to know Protect and Jinx. I take a Warlock over a Spirit Seer in this list because I can use the Stratagem Seer Council and give both Eldrad and the Warlock +1 to cast. Very nice for getting off powers like Doom. I think a lot of Eldar players will take a Bealtan Spirit Seer for that sweet Spirit Stones of an Athelan relic. But I'm running a pure Ulthway Battalion today. And no Ynnari, so take that, Internet. Here we have the penultimate bringer of destruction, Mogg Ra, the Phoenix Lord from Craftworld Altan Seer. That's lost in the warp. He went and got his friends back because you can tell he's wearing bones and doesn't give a damn about anything, even if you're a demon.
He bet.
This dude just picks up units. Like if there's like one dude left in a unit that I really need to kill and I'm out of shooting, he always hits on 2s. He can pump out 8 shots a turn and fire 4. Like he can split it up 4x4 because he gets to fire twice in every shooting phase. And he hits on 2s, rerolls 1s, and Ryan's Chaos, and I reroll 1s to wound against Chaos.
They're very useful.
So I'm thinking probably a showdown between Mogg Ra and Typhus later.
It's gonna happen.
I'm predicting that.
It's gonna happen.
Connor, why are you bringing 1 Guardian? I'm not. There's 40. They're all in the webway. I'm super stoked. I love 40 Guardians. It's one of the most handy dandy damn things that exists in this game is 40 Guardians dropping down, pumping out 42 shots, and then getting a 3-up invuln save with like the powers and strats. They're a pure Ulthway, so I get a sweet 6-up feel no pain after our flimsy 5-up armor. And they just deep strike and do murder and take board control, and I love them. Here we've got the obligatory Ranger squad. He's got 4 more friends dancing around in the treetops, lying in wait for Typhus to shoot him in his helmeted head. You know, they just fill out my battalion. They provide a little bit of screening for my characters, and they screen. That's basically what they do. They screen and they die.
That's it.
That's it. All right, folks. This is the last part of the Ulthway battalion. So, in addition to giving me 5 command points and amazing guardians, the rest of the Ulthway battalion I'm taking gives me these swooping hawks. I've taken these in particular to counter the new orc meta, because you'll see a lot of players running a tactic where they will charge a couple units, kill 1 unit, and then surround a guy from another unit. So the goal of the swooping hawks or the purpose of them is they can't ever be surrounded because they have the fly keyword. So they can fall back out of combat even if they're tri-pointed. I mean, you can see he's got wings.
He's got the wings.
He's got wings.
He's got the wings, he's got the power.
He's got the wings, he's got the power. I mean, they perform a similar role to Rangers, but they just can't get wrapped up. And they move 14 inches, and they're like an amazing screening unit, and I'm experimenting with them more in preparation for some tournaments coming up later in the year. Here we have a Urian Rakarth stand-in. It's actually Urian's body double, because you know Urian never goes out into the battlefield. He's too smart for that shit. He's been alive since like before the fall. You don't stay alive that long going out and fighting wars. This is just my homunculus, I'm sorry, I'm running this as Urian, I just said that. This is Urian. He gives +1 strength, +1 toughness. He's also like really hard to kill because he halves damage. He's just like pretty much a staple HQ choice for taking a Coven battalion. Who's that? That's Peter Parker. This is my homunculus. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have an electro-corrosive whip, but he might. That's a piece of war gear, basically. I think he has one, I'm not sure.
You sure that's not an Eversor assassin? Or?
It could be. It could be. It could be many things. It could probably be an Eversor assassin if I played Imperium.
Yeah.
But Eldar forever. Eldar forever.
That's true.
And this is just my homunculus who runs around with the Vexator mask. The Vexator mask is, in my opinion, the best relic in the entire game. For those of you who don't know what it does, at the start of the fight phase, I can pick an enemy unit within 6 inches of this guy, and I make them fight last. That means you can't interrupt, you can't do anything. You have to fight after all other eligible units have fought, and it specifies in the ruling, or in the writing for the relic, that if they have an ability that will allow them to fight before then, they fight as if they did not have it. So this dude just, you got 30 orcs charging me. I love that. They're all gonna get murdered. So now we have the Humble Rack. I've got 22 of these guys in the list. I'm sorry, 17, I can't do math. They're just filling up my battalion, providing some screening. They can go up to toughness 5 once they're in the homunculus bubble, so they're just like annoying to deal with. And they have like a little Tide of Traitors stratagem, which can come in handy. Just like basically, it's just Tide of Traitors for racks. Only thing they just can't have more than 10 man, but they can just kind of like teleport to an objective if I need to later in the game. Really handy. Big fan of racks. They don't really do anything, but they don't die very well either. And here we have possibly the most savage part of the list. This is 1 unit of 7 grotesques. I have 2 units of 7. These guys just don't die. If you have Death X, definitely take Death X if you're playing against grotesques, because they do only have an invuln save. That's why I take Eldar Psychers, so I can hopefully shut down that Death X cast with a reroll to deny from Eldrad. Yeah. 4 wounds can go up to toughness 6, strength 6. They can do mortal wounds. In combat, they can be AP 2. They move 7 inches. They can deep strike with a command point.
So
they keep all my characters alive, and they beat up everyone. And here we have the Harlequin Vanguard. These guys are, for some reason, fighting with the other elves, probably because they're all elf brothers together, and sisters. And I'm gonna go down from this end to the other, starting with this guy. This is my warlord. This is the troop master. He's using the a foot in the future warlord trait, which means he adds 2 to his move and advance, and like +1 to his charge. It just basically makes him like a solitaire who I'll cover later. I've given him a Harlequin's Kiss and a fusion pistol. I'm going to talk about the trait that this detachment has after I go through all the guys. So to his left, you see the Death Jester, my custom Death Jester model that I am super stoked about. I give him the Curtain Fall relic, which basically gives him a Strength 7 AP2 sniper rifle. It can go up to having 6 shots, and it can also have a Strength 8 D3 damage shot with some more stratagem action. Just like really useful. He's kind of like a baby Moggen Raw. He just needs command points to make him really good. I've been playing around with him recently. I think he's really fun. To his left, we have the Tax Death Jester. He doesn't have a relic. He kind of just is a regular Death Jester. And he's just helping me fill out this Vanguard. He's got some uses. I'm kind of like working out what I want to do with him in these test games. And then we have the Star. This guy won me my last game I played over on the Warp Charge Gaming YouTube channel. This is the Solitaire. He moves 12 inches. He can move up to 12 plus 3 d6 inches if I choose to blitz him in a turn. I give him a relic called Chigorax Rose or Sigorax Rose or however they pronounce it, which means that he is in combat, strength 4 minus 1. He rerolls to wound and does d3 damage. But against infantry, he does flat 3 damage. And I would just get on my, kind of explain my thinking behind this detachment now. So this is a mixed detachment. This is not, no one here is benefiting from a mask trait because a couple of them have different mask keywords. Mask is like your chapter tactic. So this guy right here is Dreaming Shadow. I do that so he can make use of the Exemplar Made stratagem, which says that for every hit that he gets with his fusion pistol or any gun he has, it counts as 2 hits. And for every roll of a 6 on a hit, it counts as 3 hits. So he can just like punish people. It's 1 command point. It's so good. He also rerolls to wound in combat. He's got a strength 4 minus 1 d3 damage weapon and 5 attacks. And he moves 12 inches. And he ignores terrain and bottles in the movement phase. He's very handy, very useful, a lot of fun. Then we've got the Death Jester I mentioned earlier with Curtain Fall. He's Dreaming Shadow as well because that's what you need to take Curtain Fall, which is the big relic. I'm testing him out. I'm having a lot of success with him. I think it's really fun. And then to the left, we kind of have, I was thinking of a use for this Death Jester, and I sort of came to the conclusion that he's going to be a Silent Shroud Death Jester, because there is a Silent Shroud stratagem that says I can ignore Overwatch for 2 command points. So like in a pinch, I can just be like 2 CP, he's taking away Overwatch. I haven't actually done that with him yet, but it's there. It's a good utility to have.
It's always useful.
And the Solitaire is basically the reason I do not have all these guys sharing 1 mask form. Because the Dreaming Shadow mask form says that when I die on a full up, I can like shoot or make a close combat attack, which is useful. But I want the Solitaire to have access to the Midnight Sorrow stratagem, which is his mask form, Midnight Sorrow, that allows him to fight when he dies. So this guy can potentially fight in combat 3 times in 1 turn, with doing his normal fight, using the Harlequin strat to swing twice in 1 phase, and then if he dies, he can swing again.
Sure he's not Space Wolf?
Not Space Wolf.
Okay.
So this guy, with the use of another strat, so for like 6 command points, this dude can fight 3 times and do 36 attacks.
Nuts. Out of control.
So we're gonna see how it goes. Hopefully I don't bounce off these rotting Nurgle bodies.
I doubt it. Alright, and today for the Death Guard, I'll be running a battalion and an outrider attachment. Leading off the battalion is a freshly converted Chaos Lord with a bolt pistol and chain axe. And the Demon Prince with Hellforged Sword, Malefic Talon, and Plague Spewer, and now he's got some wings. Both these guys are going to take a relic. The Demon Prince is going to have the separating plate, so when he saves wounding close combat, he can roll on a 4+. He deals a mortal wound back to whoever dealt that wound. And the Chaos Sword is going to take the Fugaris' Helm, which I think is pretty much an auto take for a lot of people that want to reroll wounds for all plague weapons and make the area a little bigger. I think it's like 3 inches bigger. So I can spread them out a little bit and get some more space economy in my backfield. Alright, next up for the troop choice, I've got 9 Plague Marines. I've got 4 of the Bolters, the champion with a plasma gun, 2 Blight Launchers, 1 the cleavers and one of the flails of corruption, and I'm just gonna try to pop out of a rhino and try to swing and shoot as much stuff as I can before these guys die, which is probably gonna be pretty quickly. And to finish up the troop choices, I've got 2 units of poxwalkers. I'll be running 18 of each, and see how survivable they are. For the elite slot, I'll be running 2 foul blight spawns. They've got that crazy flamer that does like 2d6 strength, 3 damage apiece, and a 9-inch range. So I'm gonna be hiding one of these guys in a rhino and probably have one in the backfield just for safekeeping. Next up, I've got a Mephitic Blight Hauler with the crack missiles and multi-melta and bile spurt. This is a brand new dude, so he's completely unpainted, so we'll see how he does. Next up is 2 Plague Burst Crawlers with the Plague Spewers and the big cannon. I'm not running the Rot Hail. It's modeled with the Rot Hail cannon in the front, but I'll be running them as the Sluggers. It's a cheaper run, but yeah, we'll see how long these guys can last. Also have a Chaos Rhino with just a Combi Bolter. And next we've got an Outrider attachment, and leading off that Outrider attachment is Typhus with Blades of Putrefaction and Putrescent Vitality. And last, but certainly not least, we have 3 Fetid Bloat Drones, each with the Plague Spewers and the Probe, and each degrading in paint quality severely. As you go down the line, these have proven to be annoying for literally everybody, so I hope they can stick around in this fight. As it stands, the Death Guard have the +1 to go first. Let's see what we get. I roll
Big
5. Big
I
5.
But you got the +1.
Oh, but I got the +1, so it's a 6. Can you seize?
I'm not gonna seize.
You're not gonna seize. See, that's tactical restraint. I love that. All right, Death Guard movement phase is complete. These guys just stayed over here, castled up. The Foul Blight Spawn scooted up a little bit with an advance. These guys all advanced up 6. The Demon Prince just scooted up after I advanced these 2 guys. Got him up on this little bastion over here. He just moved up to get next to the Demon Prince, so get a reroll. Just moved up the Rhino a little bit, moved and advanced these guys, and moved and advanced these guys. I'm gonna check and see what we got for anything in second range, and we'll come back to that. Demon Prince tried to get off Miasma Pestilence, but was denied, so we'll come back to you after the shooting phase. Alright, and the shooting phase for Death Guard is complete. Not really too good. Only actually managed to take out one of the grotesques. They're very, very tough, obviously. Both of these guys, Flamers, all went into them, didn't do fucking anything. Both of the big cannons from the Plague Burst Crawlers also went into them and didn't really do much either. So I moved them up nice and close, so we're gonna see a turn 1 charge for the forces of the elves, mixed elves, all the elves. Forces of all kinds of space elves. So
The forces of the elves.
we'll come back to you after the movement for all the elves.
Alright, end of, what should we call this army?
Space Elves United.
End of Space Elves Space Elves United movement phase 1. I've advanced upon the center. I'm going to try and murder this bloat drone, and maybe with some tricky movement on my part, grab a recon point. We're gonna have to see about all that. I have all my characters positioned behind the grotesque wall. I plan to do a little charge maneuver where I'm gonna wrap them up like a nice, what is it, a pig in a blanket? That's what's gonna happen, that's my plan. So basically the plan for this turn is just to kill that blood drone, maybe put some wounds in the Demon Prince with my Death Jesters, and we'll get back to you after Psychic. Alright, the Eldar Psychic phase was very good. Eldar did take a wound on Perils. I think that's the first time that's ever happened to me. Because Eldar Psychers, Farseers in particular, get a 2-up Feel No Pain save against Perils because they're really good at that stuff. And so I got Doom off, I got Jinx off, and I did a couple mortal wounds to him through Smite and Executioner. And yeah, it was a successful Psychic phase. So moving into the shooting phase, which is going to be very janky, I'm excited. And back at those once loyal, end of the charge phase. I've done some janky stuff. These grotesques were once loyal to somebody else, but then my homunculus got a hands on them and they turned them into weird, gross monsters. and now they're just loyal to pain. Doesn't that suck? Basically, what we've got going on here is a little bit of janky combat tacticry. That's a word, tacticry. I've charged the blood drone with all the grotesques. The black unit is going to put in the work, and the pink unit is going to defend my characters. The way the charge phase works is you just have to have the first guy end within an inch of the model you charged. So he went over here. These guys circled up around my 500 so points of character so they don't get all flamed in the face, and they're going to stand there. That's what's going to happen. I'm pretty stoked. Hopefully I kill his blow drone. I can certainly just whiff, and that would be hilarious. But we're going to see what's going to go down.
Only 4 wounds left.
I predict the Troop Master does it. That's my prediction. I hope I'm true.
And lo, the fetid blow drone has fallen. My elves went in there with their big, gross, grotesque friends, and they punched it until it blew up. But blow up it did, and it did a mortal wound to all my characters, which was hilarious. Eldar has taken 2 wounds at this point.
Not
So
good. How many is it total?
he has
That's
6.
6. That's good.
But the Warlock, small and weak as he is, has 1 wound left. Because they only have 2.
Looking good for him.
It's looking bad. It's looking quite bad. But I was able to get some kill more points, and I held an objective that I haven't gotten on the board with secondaries yet. But I'm ready to fight all these Death Guard. It's going to be a glorious game full of glorious things, and we're looking off camera at the cat who's biting a plant.
That's pretty good.
So get ready for Ryan's turn 2.
Turn 2 for the Death Guard. All these guys stayed still over here. My warlord stayed in this building over here. This guy stayed still. These guys advanced a mighty 1 on top of their 4, so they went 5 in this direction. The Foul Blight spawn had moved in advance because he has that Assault Flamer. The Demon Prince flew up over here as trying to eye down this little mass right here to make a charge later on. This guy stayed still. The Foul Blight spawn and the tank came out, moved up forward so you can get into flamer range for these guys. This Plague Marine just stayed right behind him. The Rhino moved back and then popped smoke. These guys moved up and advanced. He also moved up and advanced, and he just moved up off this tower. And Typhus is deep struck into the back line, trying to get a smite onto these nasty, nasty grotesques. So we'll come back to you after the psychic phase.
So much pain.
Okay, psychic phase for the Death Guard. Major fucking whiff. He tried to cast Miasma Pestilence. Eldrad said, no! Typhus tried to smite. He said, no! And then he tried to do Blades of Putrescent. No! End of psychic phase. And end of Death Guard shooting phase. So this guy tried to double flamer these dudes over here. Took out only 1, right?
Yes, just 1.
These guys just moved up a bit. This guy popped smoke so he can't shoot. All of these guys unloaded into this pig squad back here. It only took out 2, I think. Or we took out 2 total. I don't know how much they actually did. Maybe only like 1 guy.
I think they took out 1 and the Mephitic Blighthaller took out 1.
That's right. So the Foul Blight spawn unloaded into this front squad. Didn't really do much. This guy fired all of his weapons into this back unit and also helped take 1 more out. He tried to do his flamer into that unit and also didn't really do anything. And both these cannons, these long-range mortars combined, also targeted that unit and didn't really do much. These grotesques are tough. And also he flamed. Didn't do much either. Typhus can't shoot anything, and these guys are over here just kind of holding their dicks. So we'll come back to you after Death Guard charge phase. End of the Death Guard charge phase and fight phase. I moved my Demon Prince up here, and as you can see, he is not there anymore. He charged into the Grotesque and the Solitaire that were there. Muscled the first attacks as the Vexor Mass made him attack last, but did 4 of the saves, 5 of the saves, and then rolled to see if Mortal Wounds went back with separating blade on 4-ups, and I got 4 of them, which killed him, and then he attacked back, did a stratagem that added 2+ strength or 3+ strength, did extra 3 attacks,
So he used Torments of the Fiery Pit,
Uh-huh.
which is +2 to strength and attacks if he took any wounds in the battle round.
Right.
And he had no wounds, so he lost all of them.
Right.
And then he did that was 1 command point. And then he spent 2 command points to fight when he dies.
Mm-hmm.
And since it was a solitaire, it adds +1 to strength and attacks.
Nasty.
So it ended up being +3 strength and +3 attacks.
Yes. Wounding a demon prince on 3s.
He's
D3
just
apiece.
a full elf.
And I tried to make 10 disgusting resilience saves and only made 4 of them, so he's dead. The bullet drone attacked in, didn't really do much, and was attacked back, and he's down now to 6 wounds. So that is the end of Death Guard turn 2. We'll come back to you at the end of the movement phase for the fucking Wonder Elf Union, whatever we're gonna call these guys.
Wonder Elf Union.
All right, guys. Turn 3, Space Elf Union. I brought in my big punchy guys. We're talking Guardians. I got both squads of 20 on the board, looking at taking out these Poxwalkers and getting me 2 points for Mark for Death, and hopefully a kill more and a hold more this turn. I've also brought in these Swooping Hawks to secure a recon. It's gonna be pretty sweet. And then in other news, we're moving in on taking the Plague Marines out with some of my grotesques and having my Troop Master kill that lonely foul blight spawn. And in other news still, we have the showdown between Mog and Ra and the Fetid Blood Drone. It continues. The grotesques are going to help out. I'm also going to smite that guy and shoot him with stuff. I'm looking to take out the Poxwalkers this turn, the Plague Marines, and we're going to see how it goes. We'll see you after the Psychic phase. So another successful Psychic phase from the Eldar. Our friend Typhus over here
Ate shit.
could not stop it. Eldrad,
With the Seer Council strat for +1 and the +1 he gets for after his first successful cast, he gets +1 on the rest of the casts. He's just a monster. He just doesn't care about anything.
look at him. He's like pointing up at something we can't even see because he's so insightful.
Does he look like he cares? He doesn't care about
He
anything.
doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a good goddamn. Yeah, so I cast Guide on the Guardian Blob over here, trying to vaporize the Poxies, Pox boys. I cast Jinx on the Plague Marines over here to have the Grotesques punch them in the face. And I cast Doom on these Pox Bringers over here, and I'm going to use a stratagem on the Guardians to have them hit on 2s in the shooting phase. So hopefully I pick up some stuff this turn. We'll get back to you after the shooting phase. Alright, so the Guardians did their thing, man. I guided one squad and discipled the Black Guardians did the other squad, and they wiped out both Poxwalker units, man. Got 'em! Guardians are so good. Got 'em. I love them with all my heart. And now we're gonna fight stuff, and it's gonna be exciting. The Grotesques are looking at hitting some Plague Marines in the face. It's gonna be amazing. That's coming up next. All right, that was the end of turn 2. I would have said turn 3 earlier. Ryan pointed that out. It is not, in fact, turn 3. It is, in fact, turn 2. The Death Guard bit back in my turn. I lost 2 characters. I lost the Warlock, and I lost the Homunculus with Vexator Mask, which is sad. I was able to tie up a lot of his stuff, and I picked up the Poxwalkers. I held more this turn. Ryan killed more for the battle round for turn 2 because he killed my 2 characters in my turn, which was awesome. And now we're moving into turn 3, actually.
Actual turn 3.
Actual real turn 3. And we're going to see what the stinky boys can do against the elves, who are probably also stinky because they're sweaty.
Recap of Death Guard turn 3 movement. Typhus just kind of crawled over here, kind of close to these guys. This Fetid Blow Drone that had 2 wounds left fell back just close enough to he can be in range with this guy. This guy moved up in advance, so he's right next to him. We're gonna try to unload 4 flamers into that second man. And then over here, I fell out of combat with my Rhino. The Plague Marines that were in combat also fell back, and I completed their move together, so I embarked them. We kind of called that was like okay, because that's kind of how we interpreted the rules.
Seems legit.
Seems legit, so I wanted to get them out, but if that's too tricky, I'm sure you can leave a comment and call us fucking assholes. this guy over here, even if he fell back, he wouldn't be able to shoot this turn, so he's probably gonna die, so I'm just gonna leave him in combat and kind of hope he can get a swing off maybe. I actually moved my Plagueworks Crawler up here to get kind of close to these guys, and then use Blasphemous Machines for a command point so I can ignore the moving and fire heavy weapons penalty. These guys stayed put over here. He's counting as inside of this building right now, but his little stupid spike is kind of holding me off. So right now he's technically claiming that as objective. And this guy just kind of scooted up here, and he moved and advanced over here because he's got an assault weapon. So that's that. We're going to come back to you with the psychic phase. Behold, Typhus's psychic phase did not get blades off, but actually got a smite off on these guys and took 2 out. So we'll come back to Death Guard shooting. End of the shooting phase for the Death Guard on turn 3. It took the combined efforts of these guys, sluggers, to get these guys, and the flamers to get the hawks, swooping hawks, out of there. But I finally got them out. I needed to get those nasty laser guns away from me. Over here, I killed two of these guys? No, 3 of these guys.
You killed several?
Yeah.
I need to take more out.
I don't know that you could fail
On like
really.
a 6, it probably matters. No.
Nah, you're good. So 3 of those guys are gone. Flamered the shit out of this guy, and he only has 1 wound left. You can see it.
Use the command point to
Hate see
reroll.
it. Typhus used the Destroyer Hive on these guys. It wasn't super effective, but I did get enough of them out of the way, so maybe I can make a charge on something here. Even if it'll matter, we'll see. So we'll come back to you after the charge and fight phase. Turn 3 combat for the Death Guard. Made a charge in with the Mephitic Blight Hauler and had to do a reroll, but got Typhus in too. Managed to kill, what's that guy's name again?
Malgan Raw.
Malgan Raw. Took him out, lots and lots of damage. These guys piled in and managed to take 3 wounds off Typhus. And then over here, my Foul Blight spawn attacked in, didn't really do anything, and then the Grotesque came in and just wiped him off the map. So, as it stands, that's the 2nd character you've killed? Yeah. So, yeah, that's turn 3 for Death Guard, and then we will come back to you with turn 3 for the wonderful union of all kinds of elves from space.
Alright, we're here at the bottom of 3. We're descending on the drones with the guardians and my characters. This is what I see as the greatest threat to our great elf union, is these fetid blood drones. And Typhus. Typhus is also very scary, which is not what you want. Scary Typhus. Yeah, so I'm just making a move to try to kill these blood drones. Hopefully the Grotesque kill Typhus in combat. I'm making a move to surround this rhino with the racks and the grotesques and just sort of punch it for like a turn or 2 until it dies. Then I kill the guys inside, which would be awesome. And then over here, we've got the lone Foul Blight spawn facing down a bunch of guardians. So we're gonna see how he does against that. And I brought it on my reserves. So I got the Hawks holding recon and the Rangers holding other recon and shooting stuffless sniper rifles. We'll get back to you at the end of the psychic phase.
So, in the process of trying to destroy this fetid blood drone with psychic powers, he destroyed it, and then I blew it up for 1 command point automatically. I did mortal wound to everything within 7. Killed. Please help me with this guy's name one more time. Eldrad. Killed Eldrad, smoked him. He only had 1 wound left, so he just smoked him. Took out another 1-man unit that was over here of the Racks. Took out 1 guy out of this one. Did a mortal wound to Typhus himself, though. Ignored it on this guy with a Disgusting Resilient. Took 1 on the Grotesque, right?
Yeah.
This guy ignored it. And then they ignored it as
Guardians
well.
are fine.
And then the Warlord actually took 1. So, yeah, pretty brutal one explosion for 1 mortal wound over here on the psychic phase. So we'll come back to you after the shooting phase.
Yeah. Nice.
So in the shooting phase, he wiped out this Foul Blight spawn, but then started unloading on this fetid bloat drone, did a fucking nutload of wounds on this fucking thing. This guy took 5 off with just his blaster, and then these guys started just like unloading on them. Then I realized that it's the shooting phase, and I could just make them blow up again. So I did another 7-inch blow up. Typhus took another one, and then the Grotesque didn't take anyone. He took a wound. He took a wound. They took a wound. Rax took a wound, and this character up front took a wound. 2 explosions in the same turn.
It's hilarious.
It's
this
ridiculous.
Is utterly hilarious.
Absolutely ridiculous. So we'll come back to you after the charge phase for the wonderful Aeldari Union in space. End of turn 3, and Typhus has been eliminated, and that is where we're gonna call it, because at this point I've got this guy right here is gonna fall back and not be able to do anything. My poor Rhino is completely surrounded and has 2 wounds left, and we rolled for it. He did not explode, so he's trapped there and gonna die. There's not really a whole bunch this guy's gonna be able to do besides put flamer attacks on that guy, and it's not really gonna do too much. And next turn he's moving this entire blob over here and charging the Warlord and tagging these 2 units. And they make the charge. So that is what we're gonna call it. And I was way behind on points anyway, but it was a good game. I think Death Guard are just so slow and don't have enough firepower. If any of you have seen the other video that I did before, it's just straight up a knight added onto it. So it's a bunch of stuff you can't kill, and then a bunch of actual useful firepower, which I think that's the list I will definitely be playing in like any tournaments coming up. This is just a lot of stuff to chew through. And it's Rangers came back over here. There's so many infantry units, and there's not enough firepower for me to really get through it. And with Typhus just kind of like only getting 1 attack off over here and just like mostly getting blown up, was not looking good by the end of that turn. So yeah, crushing defeat of Death Guard. The wonderful Union of Elves can keep this planet. It sucks anyway. So it's a good game. Connor, thank you so much for coming over.
Yeah, dude.
Next time, come on over and crush me again. I'm gonna bring a knight, and you can blow that up too.
I'm gonna bring the Avatar of Cain. He's gonna return.
The Avatar of Cain is returning. Would it be a clean detachment? No unison of dark elves and clown elves and all that other stuff?
The thing I'm thinking about doing is dropping Modern Raw and dropping the Swooping Hawks, and that's enough points to get the Avatar of Cain.
That's pretty sick.
Because I like this list. I think like you can wear, like, I just miss having the Avatar, to be honest. Like, I don't know if he's probably the best choice, but like, he's got a big flaming sword and he just wants to go fight stuff.
Sometimes that's all you need is a big flaming sword.
That's all you need.
That's all you really need. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching.